Hello everyone, Touchnot here. Thanks for supporting the Touchnot channel, by the way, and the page on Facebook. Means a lot to me to know that everyone's listening to what I'm, not everyone, but the people that are interested in my content are following it and anxious to see some more. That's what I'm hoping. And so I'm back with a book. It's still July for MacGillivray. Clan MacGillivray is our monthly clan for July. So I have the minor Septs of Clan Chattan, which I started in another video. If you should back up and watch that, please. Cindy, my friend Cindy Mackintosh, sent me this book, as I said in the other video. I'm going to pick up where I left off here from this 1898 edition by Charles Fraser Mackintosh. Farquhar Vic Alistair also acquired half of the lands of Kulake from the Earl of Moray, who was in theft 20th December 1631. Beautiful out here behind the studios today. He had one sister, Catherine, married to William Mackintosh in Elrig, who it is in theft therein 28th September 1638. I have not observed to whom Farquhar was himself married, but he had a numerous issue. Alexander, Donald, William, Bain. When I say Bain, it's B-E-A-N in this book. I'm pronouncing it like the McBains do it. McBain clan. Okay. So yes, his sons were Alexander, Donald, William, Bain, Lachlan, and at least one daughter, Catherine, first married as his second wife to William Mackintosh of Aberrader in 1653, and afterwards in 1663 to Martin MacGillivray of Abercalder. Farquhar's eldest son, Alexander, married Agnes Mackintosh, second daughter of William Mackintosh of Kalaki. See how many times these clans are intertwined, folks? It's incredible. Clan Chattan, we have 12 clans, and they're just not seeming separate clans anymore to me. While I'm doing all this history research this year, they're just like this. If I had 12 fingers, which I don't, this is what they would look like. There's only 10 here, of course, but our clans are like this, folks. Band of union. Okay. The Forbeses of Culloden did not find Alistair a good neighbor at Kalaki, for by bond registered 24th June 1654, Kalaki binds himself as cautioner in a law burrows that Alistair will keep the peace towards Duncan Forbes of Culloden, John, fiar thereof, and their tenants. So he's being ordered to behave himself, be a nice neighbor, literally. Alistair died young, and his widow married in 1657, William Forbes of Skelater. Farquhar's second son, Donald, commonly called the tutor of Dunmaglass, married Marie Mackintosh, and was founder of the Dalcrombie and Lettercoulin family. And his descendant in the 5th degree, Neil, ultimately succeeded to Dunmaglass. Meaning, succeeding to it means he is of it, considered of it, the head of that household at the time, rather than any of his brothers, although they were certainly of that family. That's my take on it anyways, folks. Some of these things I try to interpret for you, or for me, really. I may always not hit the mark. The MacGillivrays of Dalcrombie long held a good position in Inverness-shire, the last owner, Farquhar, having been at Culloden, but fortunately he escaped. All the MacGillivrays were staunch Episcopalians, and Bishop Forbes frequently mentions his warm reception and hospitable treatment when on his periodical visits. He must have been like a traveling priest, I would imagine, going around to different districts to preach, and they fed him well, is what it is. Gave him a nice bed while he was at the MacGillivray lands. That's how I interpret that. Farquhar's relict, Mary, married in 1677 Alexander Mackintosh of Easter, Erkhill. William, third son of Farquhar, married Mary MacBain and settled in Largs, and was great-grandfather of the Reverend Lachlan MacGillivray, who was the unsuccessful competitor for the Dunmaglass estates, destined to heirs male 40 years ago. Must have been a court dispute, probably. I imagine that Lord Lyon would have been involved in that, but I'm not sure. 1644 matters there quite a great deal. And Duncan MacGillivray, and in the time of this Farquhar, the MacGillivrays were perhaps at the height of their power. So they're saying about 1640s, they're at the height of their power. He himself having a deal of the property, his sons Donald and William establishing a good footing for themselves, and his kinsman of Easter Abercalder representing an old branch of the house. Not much is known of his sons, Bain and Lachlan, further than that Bain left a son John and a reputation not yet forgotten. Oh boy. Being a good fighting man, badly wounded and mutilated in one of the numerous Clanhattan expeditions to Lochaber. Farquhar generally signed not MacGillivray but McAllister, of which he seemed proud. It was his father's name, after all. Farquhar appears to also have got in the year 1654 assignation, meaning sometimes you see this assignation, it means assignment. Having got in 1654 assignment of a heritable tack of the two plough lands of Wester Largs and Easter Gask in Strathnairn by James, Earl of Moray, to Hector Mackintosh in 1632, with the usual obligation from the Earl to grant a few charter when he could. But in consequence of the quarrels and ill feeling betwixt the Morays and the Cawdors, now earlier it was Calder, Cawdor and Calder I believe are the same. It was not until just after the Battle of Culloden and the passing of the Jurisdiction Acts that the Moray Strathnairn heritable tacksmen got their holdings converted into few, without Lord Moray incurring the danger of recognition. Now this is a lot of legal jargon I do not understand. I know that the earls are behind some things. They are always getting pieces of people's take on anything because that's what they did. The Earl it's talking about the Earl's holdings and his effects on things pre and post Culloden on the MacGillivray clan. Farquhar and his two sons, Dalcrombie and Largs, meaning from there, signed the Clanhattan Bond of 1664, which, as an important historic document, is now given. And he gives a copy of that document here. Farquhar and his two sons, I'm sorry, I just repeated that. It is signed by 28 gentlemen, heads of families, including 9 Macphersons, 5 Mackintoshes, 4 Farquharsons, 3 MacGillivrays, 2 MacBains, 2 Shaws, 1 MacQueen, and 2 others by initials. All right, I'm going to see if I can read this document. So this is the 1664 Clanhattan Bond. Now, the band and the bond word are a bone of contention with some people. Band, I believe, I've been told, is the correct. Bond is more of a court order. A band seems a more friendly. You want to sign a band. A bond might be something forced upon you at times. We, under subscript, gentlemen of the name of Clanhattan, in obedience to His Majesty's authority and letters of concurrence granted by the Lords of His Majesty's Privy Council, in favor of Lachlan Mackintosh of Torcastle, our chief, against Ewan Campbell of Lochield, and certain others of the name of Clancameron, and for the love and favor we bear to the said Lachlan, do hereby faithfully promit and engage ourselves, every one of us for himself, and those under his power, in case the pre-mentional Evan Cameron and those of his kin, now rebels, do not agree with the said Lachlan, anent their present differs and controversies. Before the 3rd day of February next ensuing, then that and in that case we shall immediately thereafter upon the said Lachlan his call rise with, fortify, concur, and assist the said Lachlan in the prosecution of the commission granted against the said Evan to the uttermost of our power, with all those of our respective friends, followers, and defenders, whom we may stop or let, or who will anyway be counseled and advised to us by that effect. Now thereto we faithfully engage ourselves upon our reputation and credit, and the faith and truth in our bodies, by these subscribed in Kincairn, the 19th day of November, in year of God, 1664 years. Farquhar died about 1678. His eldest son, Alistair, died young, and by the law, active management of affairs fell to the uncle Donald, though the grandfather was alive. So well known as the tutor, a man of considerable talent and business capacity. The date of Alexander's death is uncertain, but before 1658, and besides his son and successor, he had at least one daughter, Margaret, who married in 1670 William Fraser, a parent of Michelgarth. I'm going to stop for now, folks, and pick this up again. Perhaps I'll try to pick it up before that document and read that document again and go on from there. There's a few pages left here from MacGillivray in this book by Charles Fraser Mackintosh in 1898 called The Minor Septs of Clan Hatton. Touch not, my friends.